So last time we kind of talked about why should we make ourselves better? Why should we strive for improvement in life? Why can't we just remain as we are? And the idea here it says is that if we do that, then we don't gain the bliss of self-realization, which is known as Jivan Mukti. A Jivan Mukta is one who is liberated while living. So if we just live our day-to-day lives just as we are doing now, exactly the same way, we deprive ourselves of something far greater that we could achieve here and now. And what is the specialty of somebody who is liberated while living? They exude a great peace and bliss, and their lives are content, they're fulfilled. They're not stressed or tensed because there's nothing that can fill them up, and there's nothing also that can take things away from them. They are full in themselves. And also they are equanimous. They have the ability to remain balanced and equanimous because they know that the world is going to keep changing. That's the dharma of the world. Bhava sagara, right? It's gonna keep changing. People around us will keep changing, our family members will keep changing, our career will keep changing, everything will keep changing. But amidst the changing, they're able to keep themselves quite equanimous. So therefore, all seekers should strive for this purity of mind. The question now becomes, what if I don't gain it? What if I don't gain it here and now? What if I don't reach that state of enlightenment? Don't worry, because it carries over the next life. And also, as we decide, or as we actually apply ourselves in the field and we work on ourselves, we too gain a sense of peace. As we try to improve ourselves, as we try to do certain spiritual practices, we also gain a sense of peace. So there is no loss. Therefore, the purity of mind is required to arrive at this knowledge, to absorb this knowledge, and to abide in this knowledge and make it a living reality. Purity of mind is required. So the next question was, well, how do we achieve this purity of mind? So that's verse number 7. We can look at that. Manah shuddhikaraniha sadhanani vadantiha yajna danam tapaschaiva japas tirtham vratastatha. Okay, so it says here, and this is where we were last week, that Manah shuddhikarani, those who purify the mind, sadhanani vadantiha, they speak of these sadhanas or spiritual practices. What are they? Yajna, selfless dedicated service; danam, charity; tapas, austerity; japaha, japaha means repetition of the divine name; tirtha, pilgrimage; and vrata, vow, etc. And we started with tapas or austerity. Why we started with austerity is because everything is rooted in austerity. Austerity is known in Sanskrit as tapas or tapaha, or sometimes tapasya. And it means the ability to live life with self-control. Because the goal of tapas is to conserve our energy. And last week we saw the tapas of the body. So I'll just kind of recap what we saw in the tapas of the body. We saw Deva Dvija Guru Prajna, service to the Guru Parampara, service to a greater cause. That is an austerity of the body. Because we're actually using our body for something greater. We're using it to give. We're using it to work for a greater cause, far and above our very own selves. So that is one austerity for the body. Next one was shaucham. Shaucham means cleanliness. arjavam, straightforwardness, is also the austerity of the body, and we saw that because when we are transparent, when we are straightforward, then the body is also straight. When we do something that is crooked or that is wrong, then the body is also crooked, right? So arjavam. Brahmacharyam, moderation, is also austerity of the body. Ahimsa, non-violence, and those are things that will keep our bodies in control. Now, what about speech? So we'll look at today the austerity of speech. I'll read the verse. This comes from Bhagavad Gita, and then we will discuss. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. So what is the austerity of the speech? Number one, speech that is anudvega, not disruptive. Not disruptive. So no interrupting speeches. Next one, I had given the kids a formula before called SPAM. S-P-H-M. Satyam, Priyam, Hitam, Mitam. The pillars of the austerity of speech is one, truthfulness. You might wonder, why is truthfulness a tapasya or an austerity? Because when we lie, how much energy does it take? Right? Whenever we lie, there's so much energy because we have to figure out who we lied to and who we didn't lie to. And then that lie we have to cover up with another lie. Then we also feel so guilty that we lied and we shouldn't have lied. And so much energy is gone when we lie because we don't know who we lied to, how we have to do it, how to cover it up. All of our energy gets drained in this and this alone. So truthfulness is a great austerity because when we are true, then everything is straight. We don't have to think. So I have to tell this person a different story, that person a different story, this person a different. It's very straight. This is what it is, done. Satyam. This is a great austerity for us, but difficult to do. How many times have we said, I'll be there in 5 minutes, but we are 20 minutes away? How many of us we've done that before, right? Or how many times do we say, yes, 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 I'll definitely come, but we're for sure not going to come, right? So this satyam is also quite challenging. It's quite challenging for us, and it's a great austerity if we can practice it. Back in the day, they didn't have any contracts, right? Now we have contract for everything. You have to sign waivers, liability waiver, media waiver, so many waivers. If your kid goes on a field trip, you have a stack of documents, correct? But back in the day, there was none of that because everything was just based on the word. You said you would do it, you will do it, fine. That's it, end of story. But because we have deviated from that satya, we have to, the more we deviate, the more waivers we have to sign. No? So that is what is happening now. So truth is an austerity of speech. Priyam. Priyam means when we speak the truth, it should also be spoken out of love. Not out of hate, not to degrade the person, not to make the person feel bad. And Priyam doesn't mean that we don't scold or that we're not firm. We can be firm. We can also scold sometimes. But it's always coming in a place of love because we want that person to be better, because we want that person to grow, not because we want to put that person down. So speech, austerity of the speech is truthful and it is also out of love. Then hitam, speech that is beneficial. Hitam means it's beneficial. If it's not beneficial, then why speak about it? Sometimes there's rumors and there's gossip and there's all these things happening. But is that beneficial for the person to know? If it's not beneficial to put all of that garbage in someone else's mind, don't do it. Our time is so precious. We get enough of that. We get so many WhatsApp forwards. We get junk mail, spam mail, right? We never had these terms before. All this junk mail, spam, all of that just recently came because so much of it is going around. If it's not going to inspire, uplift, benefit, inform, then why say it? Why not just hold back? Words are so precious. They're such precious energy. So hitam. Then we have mitam. Mitam means measured. So our speech should also be measured, not too short. Like, how was your day? Good. Finished. No, that's it. And not also so long that the whole time they're just talking about themselves. So mitam means measured. Just what is required, that much we speak. So this is a great conserver of energy. So many crazy things happen when we say the wrong things, isn't it? When we say the wrong things, how much effort does it take to patch it up? A lot of effort. So speech, austerity of a speech, it's a great thing. What if somebody likes to talk a lot? What if they like to say things? They like to murmur, they like to mumble. What should they do? Swadhyaya and chant the scriptures, chant the name of Bhagavan, sing bhajans, like we had bhajan class, right? If somebody likes to speak, then sing the name of God, chant the scriptures, chant the mantras. That way speech is engaged in something much, much greater. So that is called austerity. Austerity of speech. So spam, satyam, truthfulness, priyam, spoken out of love, hitam, for the benefit of everybody, and mitam, measured. Now, what is the austerity of mind? So here we will see, this is again in Bhagavad Gita. Manah prasada saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhirityetat tapo manasamuchyate. So what is the austerity of the mind? One is manah prasada, means that ability to accept what's happening. See, there's something very important we have to know. We cannot control anybody or anything. The world is not a remote control, that we can remote control it and things will happen the way we want. We can't control other people, we can't control the world, but we can contribute to it. And if we contribute to it, that's fine. But how it turns out, we have no idea, because there's too many factors. So this manah prasada means being able to accept what's happening. Being able to accept results in a pleasing manner. That's called manah prasada. And pleasing manner such that there's no complaint. Because how much effort does it take to complain? Tell me. A lot of effort. Correct? We waste so much energy when we complain, when we nag. Instead of being part of the solution, we become part of the problem and we aggravate it even more. So manah prasada means whatever's happening, first accept it. First accept it and see, okay, now what can we do about it? You don't need to go in and say, how can this happen to me? Why should this happen to me? Why is it like this? There's too many factors. There's way too many factors for you and I to pinpoint it. Manah prasada, accept. This is what it is. Okay. Let's focus our energy on dealing with it. That's called manah prasada. Saumyatvam literally means, Saumya is named after the moon. The moon's called Soma, something that's pleasing. To have a very pleasing demeanor. So that's when we meet each other, they're also pleased. Otherwise, people have to make so much effort to avoid us, isn't it? Oh, I don't want to meet that person. Saumyatvam. Then maunam. Maunam here means a reflective mind. A mind that's able to think about the mistakes that we've made. Something that we did that we didn't really like, we didn't really approve of, and we feel like we shouldn't do it again. So then focus on that and correct it, because otherwise we keep making the same mistakes again, and then we feel that same guilt again, we feel that same regret again, and that takes up our energy. That guilt, that regret, that the whole thing takes up energy. But when we become reflective and start to think, okay, this is what I have to improve, then we actually start improving it. Huh? So mauna means a very reflective mind. Atma vinigraha. Atma vinigraha means the ability to control our senses and mind. This will come again and again and again in the Bhagavad Gita, in so many scriptures, the ability to master our senses and mind. Bhava samshuddhi. Bhava samshuddhi means to be transparent in our actions, not to have any kutilata. Kutilata means crookedness. You know, in front we're doing something, but in the back we're pretending to be something else. You know, pretending is always so much effort. So much effort it takes to put makeup. So much effort to dye the hair. So much effort. So much effort to wear high heels. So much effort. Because to pretend to be something we're not takes so much effort. But to just be ourselves is effortless, isn't it? So some also effort gets completely wasted when we pretend to be something we are not. So this much is the tapasya, the austerity of the mind. So mana prasada, to be accepting, saumyatvam, to be pleasing, then maunam, to be reflective, the mastery of the mind and senses, atma vinigraha, and bhava samshuddhi, to have that life where we are transparent. And with this, when we have the austerity of body, of speech, of mind, what happens is so much of our energy is conserved. See, it's not that we don't have time. The biggest excuse of New Yorkers is, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time for that. It's not that we don't have time. We are not efficient in our time. Because we have time to binge watch Netflix, but we don't have time to attend to somebody else's issues. Correct? I don't have time. So it is because a lack of a conservation of our energy, that's why we don't have time. And when we do tapasya, we have all of that energy conserved. And the result then of such a tapasya is that we're able to do so much more. So people who live a life of austerity are able to give so much more. We wonder about our great saints and sages. For example, Puja Gurudev. He used to sleep 4 hours a day. He would wake up, he would handwrite about 60 to 70 letters a day. Then he would have his class, then he would meet people, then another class and meet people, then another question and answer thing in the evening. The whole day he just gave himself. And that would only be possible through self-control. Our great freedom fighters, great people who've made such a big difference, they're only able to achieve such heights because of tapasya or self-control. Now the important thing also of tapasya is the nature of it should also be sattvic. So let us say from the basic, so let's say I have body, speech and mind. Let us say the basic tapasya that I want to take up is I want to have a healthier body, to exercise, basic tapasya. The intention for that also should be so I can serve more, not so I can look good. Because otherwise many people do a lot of tapasya, exercise, diet, sleep well and all of that. But why? So that they can look good. This is not spiritual life, because that's boosting the ego. The tapasya that we're talking about is breaking the ego. So while we might work out, we should. We might work out, we might eat well, we might sleep well. We're doing all of this not to look good and have everybody recognize us, but for us to use this body for spiritual pursuit. So the intention also of tapasya is this. It's used for a spiritual pursuit, right? So we have seen what is tapasya. We have seen any ability to live a life of self-control. We've seen examples of tapasya, the body, the speech, and the mind. We have seen the nature of tapasya, that it should be also sattvic, something that actually breaks our ego, not something that boosts our ego. We're not in that realm. And the result of tapasya is we have much more energy and much more time to be able to give. And the application now is in our lives, we have to pick one austerity that we're going to practice for the body, one austerity for speech, one austerity for the mind. And this should be our daily practice, that my life will have these 3 tapasyas, these 3 austerities. One for body, one for speech, and one for mind. Now, when we conserve so much of our energy, where do we give it to? So therefore, the next spiritual practice is called yagna. Yagna literally means selfless, dedicated service. Yagna. It means being able to serve, being able to give for the greater good. That's why in our pledge we have producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. This whole world functions in yagna. Just take a look at our body, for example. We eat food through the mouth, and then the food is carried through all of our different systems, and the nutrients are moved all around our body, and whatever is not required, it gets excreted, right? What happens if we eat food and we just hold it to our mouth? Here, what happens? There's a block, right? It doesn't go through the whole body, and the whole body gets malnourished. Yeah? So whenever there's a block in the yagna, in the cycle of life, then some part will get malnourished. The whole life is a cycle. It says in the Bhagavad Gita how food grows. Food grows through rain, right? Food goes through rain. And how does rain grow? How does rain come? Rain comes through prosperity, through worship. When we all together worship, when we do something great, that rain falls, and that rain is profit. You think of rain as profit. When that rain falls, then food grows. And when food grows, then beings are fed. And then those beings again have to work towards the welfare of all. And when they do that, then rain falls. And when rain falls, food grows. When food grows, beings are fed. And then again, those beings have to work towards that. So it's a whole cycle. And when it stops anywhere, when somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do, then that whole yagna spirit collapses. It collapses. An example is yagna in our very own homes, right? Everybody has a role to play. The mother, the father, the children, the grandparents, everybody has a role to play. If somebody doesn't play a role, or if somebody fails in their duty, in their yagna, what happens? It collapses, right? So if we see life, everything is cyclical. Everyone affects everyone else. If the government is working to develop all of these projects for, for education, etc., and we don't pay taxes, then what happens? It collapses. So this is yagna spirit. Now one might ask, but why should I give? Why should I be selfless? Can't I be selfish? After all, I worked so hard for my own money. I earned it. I built this house, or I came to this country with $5, and now look, all of this I've built. So why can't I be selfish? Why can't I live in luxury? Why can't I live in comfort? Why do I have to give back? Why do I have to contribute to this great cycle? And the answer is the Bhagavad Gita always says this, we have received so much. Have we forgotten what we have received? The Bhagavad Gita talks about 5 places that have given us unconditionally, and therefore our life then becomes a tool for paying it forward. The 5 sources are 1, Deva, Bhagavan, God, the Lord. That Bhagavan has given us this body, has given us this mind, has given us this life, this environment, this earth. What have we not received from Bhagavan? Our own family, a whole place to live. And when we think about how much we've received, then how can we think that we don't give back anything? Second is Pitra, our parents, our ancestors. How much have our parents given us? Even if we spend our whole lives, we will never be able to repay them. The kind of care that they've taken to raise us, to be with us every step of the way, to teach us, the amount of patience, the amount of love, the amount of care. If we think about all of those things they've given us from when we were young till now, then what? How can we think that we don't owe them anything? When we think of our great saints and sages, our great rishis and rishikas, how they've preserved the scriptures. They were, first of all, in oral form, then they put it in written form, and then it was in Sanskrit, so they translated it, they wrote commentaries, then they made it applicable for our lives, and then they spread the knowledge everywhere. Adi Shankaracharya ji walked in Bharat. He walked by foot 4 times all around to spread this message. So when we think about him, all these great rishis and rishikas, how do we come up with that idea that we don't owe them anything? So first Deva, Bhagavan, then Pitra, then our rishis. Then we also have Nra, means our people in the society, especially in COVID. So many people came to us. So many people helped us. They didn't even know us, correct? So many people just did things for us without even knowing who we are. So our whole community is there to help us. And not only that, but Mother Earth. For us, Earth is not a thing. Water is not a thing. She's a mother. Mother Earth is there to constantly provide and nourish for us. So when we think about all of those things that we've received and we continue to receive, how can we say, why should we give back? How can that question even arise? Yajna doesn't mean that we have to change our careers or we have to change where we are. Yajna just means that we have to change our attitude. So if I'm just working for myself, how about change the attitude instead of I'm working to make money to I'm working so that my company can help this person or these people for the better? How about raise the bar a little bit? That's called yagna. It's rising above our own selfishness. Instead of, oh, I just, I want to have a family, I want to have kids. How about I want to raise kids to make them positive contributors to society and start raising them in that way so they're also aware of what needs to be done for other people, not just for ourselves. Our kids cannot grow up thinking that they only have to feed themselves, take care of themselves. They also have to know that other people exist and that we have to do things for other people. So yajna means raising our awareness to understand that this world, nobody is independent. As much as, we say, I want to grow up and be independent, nobody's independent. Can anybody live without anybody? We are all interdependent and we function as a whole. So yajna means I recognize that I function as a whole with society and I'm giving back. Now, what is that? So now we have seen examples of yajna. Now, the nature of yajna. When I am giving to society, what is the attitude? When we are giving to society, it's in a way we're giving without expecting anything in return. Some people give and they want recognition, they want something else. Some people count. I gave this person, you know, in their child's birthday, I gave them this gift and now they're only giving me this kind of gift. Now, some people keep tabs of what they give and what they receive. Yajna is not that. Yajna means give and forget that we gave, because it is something we're doing to rise above our selfishness and give and offer for the greater good. That's called yajna. And whatever comes back, accept. Accept it as prasad from Bhagwan. Because as I said, we cannot control the results. As much as you and I want to imagine great things for our kids, and our kids should be like this, our kids should be like that, they're not going to end up like that. Huh? Because you and I, our parents had so many imaginations about us, we didn't end up like that. So don't think that your kids are going to match your imaginations. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Huh? Just whatever we can do, offer it and let go. Because we can contribute, but we cannot control. Huh? So that is called yajna. Now, the result of yajna, when we get to the spiritual practice of selflessness, rising above our selfish pettiness, thinking about greater goals, what happens is we go beyond our likes and dislikes. See, here we're striving for something so deep. We're striving for enlightenment. Enlightenment means seeing the self in everybody, isn't it? Seeing that oneness in everyone, that is enlightenment. Now, if I'm not able to see myself in my community, then what happens? If I'm not able to see that divinity in my entire community, then where is my expansiveness? So when we work in this community, in this society, for something greater, we expand. That's the idea. We expand and our individuality ceases. Our culture is not about being an individual, displaying our individuality, showing our individuality. Our culture is about losing our individuality in totality, because we are one. There's no reason for me to stand out or you to stand out or you to stand out. We are one. So that's the result of yajna. We go beyond our petty likes and dislikes. We become more expansive and we get ready to lose our individuality. And we're able to give so much more back, and we keep the circle flowing, the cycle of life flowing. Because the minute one of us blocks, we affect so many people. In the house, the minute any one of us fails in our duties, so many people get affected. So the other reason for yajna is to keep that cycle going, to keep that harmony going. And that is called yajna. The application for yajna is for us to be involved in something selfless, something for the community. All of us must be part of that. So we learn to think above ourselves. Yajna. Okay? Now, the next one we're going to enter is called Danam. Danam means charity. Huh? The idea here is that when we have lived a life of austerity and we have controlled all of our energy, correct? Now we offer it as a service to society, yajna. When we give to society, inevitably we will grow. Inevitably we will grow. And what comes back to us, again we should share. And that is called Danam. Danam means charity. So with whatever we get back from society, we don't need all of it. We don't need all of it. Again, give it back. That's Danam. And Danam or charity is not just money. Please don't think it's just money. It's also time. It's time. It's our ability. It is our presence. It's also our attention, to be able to listen to someone, to be able to care for them. All of these things are called danam. Now, there are different types or ways that we can give. First, I'll start with the Rajasic and Tamasic way. The Rajasic and Tamasic way is to give with conditions. Like people give charity because they want their names to be on the board, right? And they'll even say, make sure you take my picture only, then I will give, right? So there's this thing that where people want to give charity because they want to be recognized, or because they have to, it's part of their corporation, they have to give charity, but there's no heart in it. Or sometimes we think that getting rid of our stuff is charity, that we have so many old clothes and old books and we're just getting rid of it, that's charity. No. Because charity in the Bhagavad Gita is very, very particular. It says the desha, the place, the kala, the time, and the patra and the person or the people who are giving to have to be correct. So whenever we're giving something in charity, it has to be at the right time, at the right space, to the right person. So for example, we can't give winter coats in the summer. That is not charity. That's just us getting rid of our stuff. That's not dhanam. Or we're going to give to a place that's already very wealthy. They don't need the money, then we don't need to give there. So clearly it says datavyam, that I must give. This attitude, I must give. And again, I will come to I must give in a bit. But first, to the right person, right time, the right place, and without expecting anything in return. Not that this person might give me back or might not give me back. It doesn't matter. Dana means you give and you forget that you gave. Like in yagna, you give and you forget that you gave. Why is this such an important practice? Why is charity such an important practice? See, again, if we come back to the ego, right? The ultimate charity is to give away this ego, to give up this ego, to let go of this ego. If we can't even let go of mine-ness, how are we going to let go of I-ness? My bag, my money, my house. If we can't even let go of my things, my computer, how are we going to let go of our own ego? So the ability to part with the object is called charity, knowing actually that it's not mine in the first place. That's why in the Arati we say, Tana, Mana, Dhana, Saba, He Tera. Means everything is yours. The body, the mind, everything is yours. Swami Saba Kucha He Tera. Everything is yours. Tera Tujko Arapan. I offer what is yours to you. Kya lage mera? Because what is mine? We say my house is mine. Really? How many people were there to help us get that apartment or house? There were people who constructed it, people who built it. There was a company that you worked for who helped you to pay for it. There was somebody to help take care of everything else while you were working. So many factors were there, and yet we say this is my house. We think that this is my body. We think that this is my body, correct? So we say that I'm going to live my life how I want because this is my body. Is it really my body? Tell me, can you live for a moment without oxygen? No. Can you live without water? Can we live without heat or the sun? Can we live without food? So then is this body yours? Who is making it live? Is it you? It's the earth, isn't it? It's the earth. It's Bhagavan. So to say that this is my body, this is my life, I'm going to do what I want, it's not yours. It's not yours. Because we really can't survive without air. or heat or water. It belongs to the world. And therefore, this is also of the world. And my house, my apartment, really, who helped put it together? My car, who helped buy all of this? We become so incredibly possessive of everything that we have, and we're so afraid to let it go because of our insecurity. So the act of charity means being able to let go of this mindness. Being able to let go, and slowly as we let go, we realize that we are able to let go of I-ness. Because how much exactly do we need? How much do we need to live? As so many people in New York have one thing in common: storage space, correct? If you go to the islands and everything, that they have a car garage, but there's never a car in the garage. There's always more stuff. So we are just collecting so much stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff that we forget what is it we actually need. So hence, charity or dana. More of dhanam we will take up next week, but one assignment I am giving everybody here. Okay, this is a must for everybody. Diwali is coming up. Yes, everyone knows. November 12th. November 12th is Diwali. Normally, what do we do for Deepavali? We clean our homes. So everybody, individual, has to pack 5 boxes to give. 5 boxes. Not 5 small boxes, 5 big boxes. Everybody has to pack 5 boxes. Find a place to give things away. I'm sure everybody has more clothes than we need. Yes. Everyone has more food than we need. Yes. Everyone has more shoes than we need. Yes. Everyone has more coats than we need. There you go. So 5 boxes we must all give, at least 5. You can also take your pictures of the boxes and send to me. So that is our application as a community, and I will also tell the kids to check on you, that you packed 5 boxes. Okay, more of dhanam we will take up next week. For now, I'll just open it up to any questions that anyone has about tapas, yajna and dhanam, these 3 important practices that we covered today. Yeah, or we can pass this around also. This is also okay. So other people can hear. Yeah.
Shashaniji, everything we do in life here in the West is very individualistic. And so even let's say that we did tapasya on our own, like a tapas, and we try to destroy our own ego. But if you lead a team, you have to recognize them. You have to do these things that are still in some framework. So how do we sort of do? We can treat that as duty, but it's still different, right? It's just different compared to the sacrifices or the tapasya you have to do.
So when we're working as a team, you mean, right? Okay. See, we live in such a society that is very individualistic, that everybody has to, people feel like they have to put themselves up in the company because otherwise, they won't be appreciated, they won't be recognized. And even in the team, we feel like we have to put ourselves on a pedestal and everything, otherwise nobody will respect, correct? But here now, just think, when we work as a team, when we work in society, what should always be on top is not a person, it should always be the vision. So when we're working on a team, we have to raise everyone to the level where the vision always comes first, not the person. So if the vision of the company is, let us say, to provide a safe space for everybody to live in, let's say, so that must always take precedence above and over anybody and any person. And the goal will be to work towards that. Because the minute it's about a person, there's going to be so many ego clashes. You're right, you're wrong, I'm right, I'm wrong. This, they're always listening to this person, not to this person. There's going to be so many ego clashes. So the first thing we have to do is direct everyone towards a vision and say that let us work towards this vision and inspire people in that way. We don't have to follow. We can also lead a different way. And that's what we have to aspire to do. Yeah? Okay.
I have a question about austerity of body. So how do you reconcile austerity of body with waste? Because a lot of times, when I'm thinking about austerity of body, I'm also thinking of, I don't want to waste, right? So for example, I will say to my daughter, you should eat everything on your plate because we don't want to waste, right? But then at the same time, when it comes to austerity of body, we should also say, well, you shouldn't eat more than what your body wants you to, how you feel. When you feel full, you should stop eating, right? So how do you reconcile those two things?
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is we have to take only as much as we need. Already from that moment, we have to say, okay, this much you can eat, this much you take. If you can't eat more than that, don't take. So take less if we need to take less, right? We have reduce, reuse, recycle, but the most important is refuse. Refuse. Huh? Refuse. If we don't need it, don't take it. Right? Especially with food. If we don't need, don't take. And if there's less, there's less. See, with food, if there's less, there's always little bit we can do to make up, right? This is always we can boil something quickly, cut something quickly to make up. But more shouldn't be there. Because we recognize food as Annapurna Devi. She's a Devi also. So that's what we should do with the kids. Take only how much you can eat. Yeah.
And I think that goes with adults also.
Yeah, it goes with adults also. Yeah.
Because recently I was reading our body actually needs 1/3 of what we eat.
Yeah.
But our senses are so much into I need this much.
Yeah.
But more and more you observe not just your mind, your body, how much you really need.
Yeah.
You need to train your body also that how much you need, and then you realize less you are eating, you are feeling less bloated, less heavy, and then you're freeing your body with those extra greed of what you're consuming.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very true. In Ayurveda, they say how much are we supposed to eat. So one Anjali is like this, no? One Anjali, this much. So that much we have to eat. So everybody's hand size is different. So whatever your hand size, when you put those two together, that's how much you should eat. So 1/2 of our stomach should be solid food, 1/4 liquid, and the last quarter should be free so that the food can actually digest. But we tend to fill it up till here, right? I ate till here, I'm so full. So that's what Ayurveda says. Stop right before we're going to burp. And give yourself time to burp. Those say, I didn't burp. It takes time to burp also. So give yourself time to burp and stop before that.
Can I just tell one small story?
Yeah, please give them back, yeah.
I think I'm loud enough. So I was reading some time back about Gautama Buddha. So he was at one's house and he used to eat only one meal. And for one meal he just took one orange. So the host were very surprised. How come just one orange could be sufficient for your whole day? So his response was that, again coming to our senses, when we eat we are consumed in our thoughts, in so many other senses that we don't realize the full potential of one meal. And in our culture, Hindu culture, we use, the way we use hand actually is so good. When we eat food, we use all our senses to enjoy it. So if we just enjoy that meal and make it part of our body, a small meal can give us all what we need.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just how you are connected with your food in that moment.
Yeah.
Now we watch TV, we talk, family time, discussions happening, and we don't know how much we are eating. One orange could be whole energy source for us as long as we are using our senses, our mind, our soul, and connecting with that food. And
Yeah.
I found it very profound.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay. There are no more questions. That's okay also. Okay. We'll stop.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
You said that lying is so, like people lie just to, like we lie to ourselves also many times to give excuses, self-pity so easily. But living in the path of truthfulness is so hard as well.
Mm.
Lying becomes easy because living the life of truthfulness is very hard also.
Mm.
And I can go back to my childhood. I gave one promise to myself when I was 10ish that I won't lie to my mother, but I know how hard my life was because I never lied to her. Because even as parents, for them to know the truth of a kid is not easy. So I think in society, and I think when I look back, not to lie comes with a lot of courage, but now we are parents. To accept the truth is very difficult, but we need to learn to accept it
Yeah.
because it's a truth.
Yeah.
But it's not easy also.
It's not easy. Yeah.
So it's from receiver and giver, both ways. We have to do a lot of things to be a truthful society.
It's true. Yeah.
Because in society we have made notions, this is right, this is wrong. And we just want to stick with those which are coming from centuries and centuries. No one is questioning that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So accept the truth, we have to do our part also. So other can say the truth.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So yeah, so I think I started with a question, but it's so hard.
It's hard. But you see, great people don't do things because it's easy. They do it because it's hard. Huh? So any great person, you can give it to Nishan. Any great person, they don't do something because it's easy. They do it because it's very hard. That's what we have to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Just another question on the theme of food. The food prayer that we do from
Yeah.
it says that that is also a yagna. Can you just elaborate on that a bit? Like how is the activity a yagna?
Yeah, sure. So in the olden days, there was a lot of yagna, havan, when you offer something to the fire. Swaha, idam namama. I'm sure you've seen. In the havans, you take something, there's a fire here, there's a fire pit, and you offer, you say swaha, idam namama. In our stomach, there is jatara agni. There's also the fire, the digestive fire. So the idea is when we eat, we are offering to the fire, and it's the same swaha idam namama, means I'm offering this to you, and whatever comes out, let this body be an instrument of your work, not for my own work. Namama, not for me. So like offering to the fire, saying swaha idam namama, all this is for you, not for me. Like that, eating is a yagna, offering to the digestive fire and saying swaha idam namama. Whatever nutrients are coming, let it be for your work, not mine. So the idea is eating is for service. It's a very, very beautiful, that's why we say that prayer. That Brahmarpanam, this is a yajna. Okay, we'll say the closing prayer. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.